everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to the paper pad party for the holiday weekend. And so today we're going to play with more paper pads, more cardstock paper pads, and we're going to create some more base pages for double page layouts so we can record the story a little bit quicker in the future. So of course these are my 14 pages or 7 layouts that I did yesterday. Isn't this amazing? You look at this pile and you're like, oh, you just love it. So these are all glued down, all ready to go. And again, they're just basic. That's all base pages is just basic. And so we're going to start playing with paper pads again. And then I did want to say that listed below, if you hit the show more button, you will see measurements and information regarding the paper pads I use per layout and also to the measurements per layout. Because after I did that video, I thought, oh, wait a minute. I have some subscribers that use the closed captioning option. And so I needed to write those measurements because, you know, I have a little bit of country slang going on, and so sometimes my words don't appear on screen as what they really are. So I definitely want to make sure I do that. So the same for this video. Just hit the show more button below and you'll see all the information. You don't have to worry about writing anything down. Okay, so let's go to the next stack of paper pads for this round 2, video number 2, and let's get playing. So in last video, yesterday, I started with a Jen Hadfield paper pad, and then I played with another paper pad of Jen Hadfield, so I thought, that's how I'm going to start this one. Yes, play with more Jen Hadfield, because she has been in the news. The Tuesday morning haul news is Jen Hadfield everything. And I'm so excited that people are just now being introduced to Jen Hadfield because she is a fabulous designer. She has fabulous collections through Pebbles. So that's exciting to see. So this is what I'm going to play with for layout number 8 is Jen Hadfield, the homemade. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was the first collection she ever came out with. And then the cardstock I'm going to use for my base came from this paper pad called On the Bright Side. This was a hot buy paper pad. Beautiful colors. I mean, you can just, well, together that is a lovely color scheme, but you can do a lot of different seasons and a lot of different themes with that paper pad. Okay, so On the Bright Side. Okay, so what I'm going to pull here is layout number 8 once I get my notes here together. You know me, always have something to say. Yes, always have something to say. So then, of course, to my left, I have my distresser. I have my 1 scallop punch that I was using in yesterday's video, and then also to my corner rounder and just some washi, 1 roll of washi and another roll of fabric tape, and that's it. I mean, honestly. And of course, I have inking there. If you wanted to ink your pages, definitely keep that on standby because some gals ink all their pages. And I will tell you, once I stopped inking on my pages, that helps save me time as too, because inking does take time. Okay, so what I'm going to do for layout number 8, using this Jen Hadfield lovely papers, and I had said this in yesterday's video, that when you pull out a paper pad and you love something, love all over it. Yes, use it more than once. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I pulled out this yellow floral, which I loved, and that is 6 by, oh, let me just say, that is 6 by 11 1/4, because you can see that I'm going to have that turquoise mat around the perimeter. And then, of course, I use wood grain. And my wood grain is the same size as the yellow. It is 6 by 11 1/4. And then notice that I broke out my corner rounder and I rounded all the corners on the top and the bottom because I wanted to see this turquoise cardstock. Now, what happens is when you're using a colored cardstock, and I'll show you what I put in the middle here, is that I just took a piece of that text paper, and that is 1 inch by 11 3/4 when I was done, and then I just notched it, just like that. And I'm going to show you a quick notch. Oh, they were on my paper. I'll show you a quick notch to do if you don't want to have to break out your pencil and measure anything. Okay, that's pretty. Now, the reason I like this colored cardstock is because this yellow is beautiful. The wood grain is yellow, but I wanted another pop of something. And so my colored cardstock added that turquoise, that pop of color. So I love that. So when I go to use this, whether I use it together as a 2-page or I use it as a 1-page, that's always an option too, is that I can definitely now look right off the bat, right from the get-go, that yellow, wood grain, and that turquoise in my color scheme, and that is how you increase your process time. Okay, so let me get my note here. It just flew to the floor. Yes. And I wrote down happy horizontal because, as I was saying in yesterday's video, when you pull out a paper pad, go to those papers you love the most, and then go to that design you love the most, and then just keep working through that. That is one way to smash a paper pad if you want to. If you have a few stragglers, make some base pages. So that is that. Okay, so now to do this notch, which is right here, one of the simplest ways you can do it, the old school way is that you would find the middle, and then you would take your pencil, and you would just give a pencil mark in the middle, and then you would cut your scissors in a half of a triangle for that. But the quick way to do this, and I don't know who showed me this years ago, I'm going to say it was Jen Gallagher, that's who I'm going to say, is that you take your paper and you bend it, but you don't fold it. Okay, you don't want a crease, you're just going to bend it. Okay, it reminds me of those, remember we used to have those, what was it, popsicles or something? It came in that weird shaped container. That's what it reminds me of every time I do this. And so you just meet up these corners exactly to each corner, okay? And then you take your scissors, and then you take your scissors, and you're going to cut from that exact point up to however wide you want your notch, okay? There is no precise way to do that. That is how you quickly do a notch, okay? And then if you want to be exact on the same side, you could come over here and you could kind of guesstimate. But honestly, I just fold, but I don't bend. Because see, even with not bending, you're going to get a little bit. Just smooth that back out. And then you just do it again. Meet up those corners, but you don't bend it. Okay? And I just pinch it down there at the bottom. Give it a haircut. There we go. Yes, that is how to do a quick notch. You can also use a hexagon punch, and I've showed that on a lot of my videos too. You can do that. But you don't have to do that pencil marking and try to measure and do exact, because I can't do it this way. Let me show you. This is what I mean. So say if I want to find the middle, and then I would go, you know, I'd just do a pencil mark, find the middle. Okay, I'm doing this roughly. And then I would take my scissors and I would go here, and then I would go here. I can never, oh, of course, it turned out good, but I can never do it that good when I'm trying. It just never works that good. Isn't that funny how that works? Yeah, I can't do it that good when I'm trying to do it. So isn't that something? Okay, so that's how I wanted to show that little tip there to do that notch. Of course, that's beautiful text paper too. Okay, so that's layout number 8. Now let's go to layout number 9. And how I separated all these before I started assembling, of course, with my lovely copy paper. That's how I separate everything in my life, with a piece of copy paper. Okay, so let's go to number 9. This is a fun paper pad. And I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of this paper. It wasn't wimpy. I mean, it's not, you couldn't put a ton of embellishments on it, but for American Crafts, because I'm pretty sure that's under the American Crafts brand. Yes, One Canoe too. When they first came out, I didn't know that. But it's not wimpy. Now, I don't like wimpy people, and I don't like wimpy paper. No. So I was really surprised. Plus, it has gold and white foil, which is unique. That's fun. One Canoe too has some unique designs. I see that they're starting to repeat some of their designs, so that's getting a little old, but they have pretty things. So let's play with this one, and we're going to play with a big image. We're going to play with a big image paper, because I'm going to use it as basically a story base, maybe. And maybe it don't repeat. Well, you'll see here in a minute which one I'm going to use. And then for my background, I used this Naturals again. This is a really good natural, very basic, but I used this several times in this round. Very fun. So again, that's by Craftsmith. Okay, so let's go to a number 9. Yes, and if you hear some creaking, that is my chair, not my bones. No, but some days I feel like my bones are creaky. Yeah, it's my oak chair that I sit on. Okay, so let's do a number, what did I say this was? Because I have an extra. Did I just lose my piece of paper? Oh, where's it at here? It might be here. My number, I have to have measurements because goodness gravy, I can't remember anything. Here it is, number 9. Okay, this is again by Creekside, One Canoe too. So for my left, there's that beautiful, from that Naturals. Isn't that pretty? Oh, very, very pretty. It just looks outdoor. I haven't even put any pattern paper on it yet. So on the left here, I'm going to use this big image of paper, and I'm going to cut that down to 11 3/4 by 11 3/4. Now, you could always round the corners if you choose to. I don't want to because I want this to look like a picture in a frame, so I didn't round the corners. And then on the right, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a 6 by 11 3/4. This gives me just a little bit of this perimeter as a margin. And then here I have a block of 6 by 7. And so this is going to either, I can go flush with this if I want to, which is something different. And you'll see the finished photos at the end of the video. And then I could put this in the middle. I could shift it up to the top. I could shift it down to the bottom. I like it down to bottom because this seems a little bottom heavy over here. Or I could balance it out and put that over there. Or you could simply put it in the middle. Okay, I think I like it a little down. And then, of course, I made this a 6 by 7 because I wanted to tuck this under, because sometimes I don't like when my edges meet up. I'd much rather have an overlapped edge than two edges meeting up. It seems like when I have two edges meeting up, I have to, for some reason, I have to cover that up. I have to cover that seam. So then what I'm going to do is also I'm going to add a border of this navy paper. It just came from my navy cardstock. And this is 1 inch. And then I gave it a scallop. So let me move this here. And I'm going to... I think I'm going to put this over here. And the reason I like this is because I have this blue here, and then that, what it does is it brings that blue and brings your eye over to there. Now I wanted to show you for the scallop punch. It doesn't matter how well you measure it, you're always going to have an end or two that looks like this. And so if you don't like that, just so you know, you don't have to keep it always 12 inches. So sometimes if I don't like those half tails and I want a full scallop image, I will just cut that extra off. I don't have to have that 12 inches. Sometimes I like the scallops when they're a little different. As far as length. So let me cut off another one. Maybe you probably can't even see what I'm doing. So this is what it looks like now, with basically just cutting off that little tail that didn't turn out right. Okay? And I like that, but I could also cut another one. I'm not afraid to cut anything when it comes to paper, because it's just paper. So then you could always cut that a little shorter. Again, that's something unexpected. Like how that is very simple, but very pretty. And why? Because the paper did all my work for me. Absolutely. Okay, so with that, again, that's using that big image. So now how will I use this? I simply could come over here, put my title, put my journaling here, and then my photos go over here. That is a great way to use this. And that's probably what I will do. I would do that just exactly like that. Or... yeah, I would put my title up here and then journaling down here, maybe a tiny little bit of embellishments, if any, and then I would be probably photo heavy. You could really be photo heavy, or do your photos in a grid. You could get 6 or 8 or 9 photos on that. That's pretty. Okay, so that's number 9. I'm looking at my notes here, yes. Now, remember, you can also distress everything. You can ink everything. And then also, as you get out of paper pads, such as that one Canoe 2, that Creekside, and so, you know, when I cut this, which was what, 6 by 11 3/4, and this is a 6 by 7. So, you know, I have some leftovers. So I wanted to show you, just as a little bonus, what I did, or I'm going to do, with some extra leftovers right off the bat. Okay, now let me get my copy paper here and cover that up. So let me put that in the pile. So what I'm going to do, and that's number 9, is that since I had only used 6 inches of that one piece of paper, what I did was I just simply took those leftovers in this size they're in, and I'm doing a happy horizontal. And this is why I love the happy horizontal, because it's about as easy as anything. And then I had an extra one of those, put that there, and this was an extra piece cut off of that big image. That's going to go there. Tell me that is not quick. Now that is a fast base page. Of course, this is going with my happy horizontal. This is something I go to when I just don't have the brain power for anything else, but I also love it so much. And so using those leftovers from that base page, I now have another one ready to go. Isn't that fun? And so that's what I'm saying with the leftovers. I said that in yesterday's video. If you have leftovers when you're done, put them out on the table, and then another session, make other base pages together with the scraps. I just thought these papers were too pretty. I wanted to do something with them sooner rather than later. Yes. Okay, so now let's go to the next paper pad, which is Paper Studio, and this is Hamilton Heights. This is what I call my Vera Bradley paper pad, because it really has a lot of those images that you would see in Vera Bradley. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Now this is not cardstock, as they say. No, it's just pattern paper. It is not cardstock. Misleading, but that is very pretty. Now some people would say they would get tired of this color combination really quick. So if you buy a paper pad where it does, I mean, this is basically navy, like a pink coral, a green, well, yeah, that's about it. If that is a color scheme that you don't love, this is kind of a hard paper pad to buy to justify. For me, I love all of those. Oh, I wish I had a blouse like that. It's beautiful. Okay, so then the cardstock that I am using for this is just something in the navy blue, because I'm going to use a piece of paper, and you'll see it in a minute. I think it's this one. Yeah. That is something I will never use, so I'm going to be covering up the very base of this page. Okay, so let me get my notes, and yes, let's just get this. Let's get this page started. I had so much fun playing with these base pages. I mean, I can't wait to put them in my album. In fact, I think I'm going to have to add extra page protectors to get all of these in. Okay, so of course you see that I have that really, I don't want to call it ugly. It's not an ugly color. It's just a hard color to use. Of course, I will put the pretty side on the outside just because... Okay, so with those papers, I have a this navy floral, this is 6 by 12. And of course, I'm going to be covering up this entire background. And again, on the right, a navy floral, 6 by 12. And so I'm just going to be wallpaper. And so I only took, now here's another multi-floral and another the same multi-floral. And again, this is in 6 inches. So this is one piece of paper and this is one piece of paper simply cut in half. How simple. And as I said in yesterday's video, that sometimes it does play a little trick on your eye when you're playing with a background paper that's, you know, bright or something you're not really in love with. But once you see that you can save the money, then you just go with it. And so then I'm also going to play with a block. This is a coral block of paper, and these are 10 by 12. Again, everything will be listed below. So isn't that lovely? I mean, that is simple. That is 4 pieces of paper for a double page. And no, I'm sorry. That's, yeah, 4 pieces of paper. This is one cut down to a 10 by 12. Oh, I have a 10 by 12. Then no, that's not right. I got to make a change on that. That is 10 by 10. Sorry about that. A 10 by 10 block. Okay. Now with this block, you could certainly go in the middle. Okay. But I'm going to go in here because I will definitely use this as a 2-page. Now let's talk about these seams right here and right here. So I have one piece of this navy. I'm still using the same navy fabric washi. And I only put one piece in here because I am not going to cover up this whole seam when this block's going to cover up the majority. So what I will do is I will simply take scissors and I will snip it and just cover those like that. That way I'm not wasting, because you know fabric washi isn't the cheapest. No. And so then I will just cover them up like that. So then it will look like it's a continuous piece, but it really isn't. I use probably half the amount that I would have normally used just to cover those seams. So that's why it's kind of good not to do your seams until you know what your design is going to look like. Just want to show that little tip. And so isn't that pretty? Now, of course, if you wanted to soften this up a little bit, what you could do is take your corner rounder and do this. Now, before you break out that corner rounder, make sure you have your papers in the direction you want, because I'm only going to use this corner rounder on the 2 outside corners, because I'm going to go in seam for the rest. Isn't that pretty? Love that. Now that is some flower power, baby. Yes. Okay, so that's number 10. Let's go to the next one. What do we have up? Oh, we have Bo Bunny. Woohoo! Bo Bunny is up next. Okay, there's my copy paper. There's my notes. I gotta have my notes. Yes, I would be lost without my notes. I get too sidetracked. And I noticed today that my hands are shaky today. I tried to calm myself down before I started the video, but you know, some days that's just what I have, you know, unless I take a beta blocker, but I try not to take them until I really have to. So I apologize if my hands seem a little shaky. So we're now going to play with the Early Bird Collection, $6.99 at Tuesday morning for 48 pieces of paper. Yeah, and this is nice too. It's not cardstock weight, but it's a nice medium weight. Well, Yeah, I would say it's a medium to a heavyweight pattern paper, but it's not cardstock. Okay, so we're going to do a whimsical page with this one. So this is Bow Bunny, and then of course my background is going to come from the same paper pad. So that is another option when you pull out a paper pad. If there's something in here you don't like, use that as your base page, and that's exactly what we're going to do for this one. Okay, and so let's play with this one. This is going to be a little different. Some may not like this, but as I said, this is whimsical. Okay. So, okay. Let me get everything laid here. So I will show you what my background is. My background is this piece of paper right here. I will not use this. It's just not, I'm not crazy for it. And how do I know if I don't like something? If I look at it and go, yeah, I don't like it, I'm never going to use it. So might as well use it for something else. And so I'm going to use the white as my background. So on the left here, now this is where you can get into some distressing and inking. And I actually already distressed mine so you could see what it would look like. On the left here, I'm going to have 3 pieces of paper, and they're going to be all the same size. They're going to be 4 by 11, 4 by 11, and 4 by 11. And you see how I cut them up into blocks. And I'm going to do cattywampus, and I'm going to do it whimsical. And so you can give yourself a small margin or a big margin. It depends on what you want. This is not something precise. This is not something you bring out your T-square. This is just something you slap and stick. But I did distress. And I used my close to my heart distresser for that. And so this is a whimsical page. So that is taking one piece of paper, cutting it up into 3 sections, 4 inches each. And then I also trimmed a little bit so I could see my white. And so on this top one, I'm going to this in the middle, I'm going to overlap that on this top and the bottom piece. And so I distressed all 4 sides. But on the bottom, I only distressed 3 sides. And then on the top, I only distressed 3 sides. And you want to see how my hands are a little shaky today? Where's it at? And I really got into this one. I mean, it really ate into the paper. I was like, whoa, oh yeah, look there. That is what happens sometimes with distressing. I mean, you can really get into your paper. Just embrace it. So I will be cattywampus with that. So that is the left, using 1 piece of paper cut into 3. And then here on the right, I'm going to have an 8 by 12. This is a yellow dot. Again, all from that early bird. And then I'm going to have a 2-inch 2 by 12, and this is going to go here on the top. And then this is again another 2 by 12, but what I did was I punched this with that same punch. I've been playing this entire 2 days. Same punch. Isn't that fun? Just a few tools. And so then I wanted to show that for this, when you have strips of paper, and I like stripes for strips of paper. Say that 3 times. I really do like stripes. And so, because otherwise they're kind of hard on my eyes to use. So you can, when you're doing something like that, leave one plain, leave one punch. That doesn't have to be all the same. And then of course I do have a couple border stickers here that I think I'm going to inlay them a little bit. Instead of covering up the seam, I seem to do that a lot. I'm going to do it this way a little bit. Maybe I'll even notch those. That'd be something fun. So then also too, with those 2 by 12 striped piece of paper, I can make this one small and I can make this one large. So isn't that just, I can shift that down a little bit too. So when you're playing with those measurements, it doesn't have to be exact. What's on the top is exact down at the bottom. And then of course you can see with this base page, the left is completely different than the right. You can do that. Now I want to show this page here on the right because there's something you can do with this, and that is simply this right here. That is a fun base page right there. I mean, you talk about simple. This is an 8 by 12. This is a 2 by 12, 2 by 12, 2 border stickers, or you can use washi. That is a fun, very fun base page. Yes, but I wanted to do something a little different using this image. I have a hard time using butterflies for some reason. It's just not my icon. I guess because I'm flowers. I don't know. But I wanted to play with that butterfly paper. It's very pretty. Okay, I think that's all my notes. Yes, now these border stickers here are about 1/2 inches, so you could use an additional piece of paper or some scraps or some washi for that same effect. But isn't that fun? And all I used was that paper pad. I didn't pull out another cardstock paper pad for my background. Okay, so that is number 11. Now let's go to something that I normally don't play with, and that is basic gray. Oh, yes, basic gray. Now I will tell you, I have not had a lot of basic gray over the years, but the ones I do, it seems like It never goes out of style. And I remember back in the day, people either loved basic gray or you didn't like basic gray. But I don't know, as time has went on, I think a lot of their patterns have never went out of style. And I know some people would agree with that. So this is the best of basic gray. What I'm going to use for my cardstock is neutrals, which was this paper pad right here. I really use this one and the naturals a lot because they are just neutrals and natural looking papers. Very fun. Okay, so I wanted to show, I have a note here. How much do you think this paper pad is? Now this was a basic gray, the best of basic gray too. So this was a lot of their patterns all in one pad. And of course they sold for $19.99. And so what it is was a little sampling. I think it was about 4 sheets, 3 or 4 sheets of all of their different collections, which I love that. That's farmhouse, baby. See what I'm saying? Some of these have never went out of style, and basic gray's been out of business for some time. Oh yeah, just lovely. So I'm gonna flip this over, and how much you think paper pads used to be at Tuesday morning? How about $3.99? Yes, just 3 years ago. 3 years ago, paper pads have went up $3 in 3 years at Tuesday morning. So when you can get a paper pad, something like this, for $3.99, no wonder we were all over it like stink on a monkey. Yes, man, it was crazy deals. $4? Yeah, that's cheaper than a hot buy with a coupon and a % off. Yeah. Too fun. Okay, so let's get cracking here, because this is going to be a different type of page too. But then with that, basic gray is a different type of manufacturer, and I know some people are still mourning that basic gray is no longer in business. I wonder who was the main designer for basic gray. Does anybody know that? Because that would be interesting if we could hook them up with a current manufacturer. That would be fun. Kind of like Stephen Duncan was with October Afternoon. Now he's with Cartabella. Okay, so here we have this. Like I said, this is going to be a little different, so just go with me on this. And so I struggle using more of these eclectic type papers. But as I said in yesterday's video, sometimes you want to stick with what you know. And then also, this paper is so nice. You almost don't know which one is textured and which isn't. Very nice paper. What was I saying? Go with what you know, and then also to break out of your comfort zone, which is exactly what I'm doing. For this layout here, is that I'm going to have like an 11 by 11 piece of paper on both, and then we're going to use a mat. Okay, so the mat is going to be 11.5 by 11.5. Okay, whew, a vehicle went by, just scared me. Woo. Okay, and so then my next mat, this is a pink graph, that is 11.5 by 11.5. And then of course my multi-floral here is 11 by 11 and this dark coral dot, which I don't know if I want those stripes this way or that way. I like it that way. That is 11 by 11. So those are simple measurements, but that in and of itself makes for a very, very fast 2-page. And then also too, this makes for a very fast single page too, because then you really have a lot of options when it comes to playing with that page. So then of course, as you're cutting down those 11 by 11s or 11.5 by 11.5, what you're doing is you're left over with a lot of these strips. So I thought what I would do this time is I would play with these strips, and I'm going to anchor them on the right, because I seriously doubt that I would use this basic gray as a single page, but that option is always there. So I am simply going to take some of those strips that's left over, and I'm going to anchor that there on the right, and I had some here, and I'm going to anchor these on the left. Okay, now my dots may be going in one direction and another direction, it don't matter. And so that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play with those strips. See how my hands are shaky? Ooh, okay, isn't that pretty? So what it does is then it's taking this dark coral, bringing it over here, this floral paper, taking it over there, so it just looks like a more balanced page. It looks like it was, if I didn't put those there, it would look like I just was haphazard with my papers. But if I put these leftover strips and I alternate them, then it looks intentional is what I'm saying. And of course with basic gray, this is a more whimsical, modern type of page, which is definitely out of my comfort zone, but that is the beauty of a base page. Because when you want to sit down and scrapbook, you may not necessarily go for papers that are out of your comfort zone, but if they're already done, you may use that a little quicker. That was my point for that. Okay, so that's number 12. So I think we have 2 more to go. So let me pause there for a minute just in case I don't lose any footage, so I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and we're going to play with layout number 13. Hard to believe, 13. So that means that's already 26 pages. Crazy. Is that this is a lovely paper pad called Bless Our Home by Recollections. Just lovely. Look at that. Bless Our Home, Magnolia, Southern. Just absolutely gorgeous. I don't think there's anything in here I didn't like, which is probably why I bought two. Yes, I did. For $4.80, you can bet your bottom dollar I bought two of those. And so then the colored cardstock I'm going to use again from this Naturals. But wait till you see the color that I'm going to use for the background, something a little different. I think that's what this whole this whole base page is something different. Using colored cardstock, using some paper pads you normally wouldn't maybe gravitate towards, or you've had and you haven't used them. Just have fun with your paper pads. Okay, so what we're going to do is look at this lovely, and I do mean lovely. Look at this. I'm going to say it's a sage. I'm just going to call it a sage, a very light sage. It's just beautiful. So this is going to be something different, is that we're going to take a piece of paper. Let me just show you. Where's my pen? I had showed this in yesterday's video when you have these type of papers. Let me see if I can find it so you can show. Now that would make for a beautiful title page on an album or an ending page. And so you can put your family's name up here and then the year. Instant first page for an album. Just lovely. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Well, you're getting to see more. There's a family tree. That'd be pretty, and put it in a frame. I'm telling you, this is a nice paper pad. And this is I think this was last year or the year before. So if you could still try to get this paper, this is cardstock paper. This is nice because, well, I guess I'll just flip through again. Why not? I know it has to be in here. I probably went too quick. And it does have some beautiful cut aparts in there. Those are nice simply to cut sometimes and put in your loved one's lunchbox. Yes, if people still do that, I'm probably dating myself. Oh, great gravy train. Is it not even in here? There's no way they only gave you one. I can't believe this. It has to be in here. There's two of everything. Do you think I already used it? No, I couldn't have already used it. I'll just give this one more try. If not, I will have to move on. But it has to be in here. Okay, just hang on. No, I have to find it. It would just be too quinky-dink. Oh, there it is. The very first one. How does that happen? Anyways, this is the paper I'm going to use. This is sometimes hard because you already have a diagonal design going, and that may not be something you want for your actual layout. So that's the one I'm going to show. Sorry, that took forever. Oh my goodness, the very first one. So I simply just took that paper and I cut it in half. It's 6 inches. And so then I did trim off a little bit. So these cream florals are 6 by 11 1/4. And so what I did was I put this floral image down here and this floral image up here. That's just how I cut that. And it has some wood grain in there. Very pretty. And then, of course, let's look at this wood grain here. Look at that. Now, I took this and I cut it down to 5 by 11 1/4. And I think what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I lay these in a certain way so that I have that image that was in that paper. I think it might go like this. So I have that image in that paper. Not that it's going to matter because I'm going to have a margin, but just give me a little continuity. This will bring the eye in. And so these are basically almost the same size. One is 6 and this is 5 because I wanted to have that margin in the middle because we're going to play with that margin in the middle. Okay, so that margin in the middle right there and this margin in the little, and you could see if I had that space a little bit better. Okay, so that in and of itself is very pretty simply because the paper is so pretty. It's already doing all the work for me. But you know, in paper pads, what do we have? We have these border strips. Okay, so that's what we're going to play with in this layout. These are lovely. Lovely, lovely. So this is the two that I picked. Okay, and so what I did was I didn't measure these. I just cut them as they are because of what I wanted. And I just wanted this navy quote, bless our home and those we love both near or far. And so that's going to simply go there. And then this one is thankful, grateful, blessed, and just repeated. And so I just added the second strip along with it. And that's going to go like that. And so that is my base page. Isn't that just beautiful? So my writing is going this way and my writing is going that way, and that is the way I like on a 2-page. It doesn't what I want to say is I don't want my writing this way on my right page. I want it to go this way and then as if you were coming down, and that's why I put my writing in that way. There's no wrong way to do this. Now, if this is a design you don't like, but look what happens when we do the magic of television. What will we do if we rotate this? This page looks beautiful on its own. If you rotate this page is beautiful on its own. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? And then let's just flip it one more time, shall we? Because you could also do it this way. Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong by rotating. Of course, you might want to flip your words there. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? A lot of choices. And those were just such simple measurements. This cream floral was a 6 by 11 1/4, and this wood grain was 5 by 11 1/4. And you could have definitely kept that 6 inches and just butted them, but you know, I wanted that wood grain for something else. So let me move this back the way it was. That is how I will do this, because in my base pages, I will tell you, I have a lot more horizontal pages than I do vertical. So I try to make sure I have a variety. Okay, that is how that's going to go. Very pretty. Then, of course, you know, you could break out your corner rounder if you wanted to do that. You could do that. And then, of course, keep these for embellishments and things like that. You just can't go wrong with these border strips. Okay, so that was number 13. We have one more to go, and we're going to break out Prima. Prima, yes. I don't own a lot of Prima, but the ones I do, I enjoy, that's for sure. Okay, so the Prima pad that we're going to play with is called Rose Quartz. Okay, now if you like Prima, of course, Prima just made a debut at Tuesday morning. Unbelievable. But also, too, at Tuesday morning, they have Prima paper pads, and they're usually $15 to $16, so wait till all paper pads are half off, and then that is really a good price for Prima when you get it half off. So this was $7.50, this was 30 sheets, and this is absolutely cardstock, if not more. I say this is heavy cardstock. This is premier paper, but then that's Prima. Okay, and so then what I'm going to use for my background is this same paper pad. I'm going to use all the papers, even my background for my base, and there's another nat, is that it all came from this right here, this beautiful paper pad. And look at that. Now I will say, let me see how many do you get. Oh, I can't do that one. Can't. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you got 4 of each of those. That's really nice, especially if you're doing journals and things like that, or if you're doing gifts where you need more than 1 or 2 pieces of paper. Okay, so let's get this last one out here and play, because we're going to do something a little different. Okay, but this is a great way to use something we have a lot of. Okay, so there's my background, and I'm telling you, that is nice. It was double-sided. So that's going to be my background for my base page. So then what I'm going to do, and let me get my notes here. I think I just missed a piece of paper. Is that we're going to play with cut aparts. Okay. Now sometimes when you have cut aparts, you can use them very easily in that Prima pad. I will show you. Let's see if I have trouble finding this one. Is that if I cut this right down the middle, they all can be read in the same manner. None of them are cattywampus, and they can simply be cut right down the middle, 6 inches. So this is a cut apart sheet that is very easy to use. Simply cut it down the middle, or you can cut it horizontally. I love when cut aparts are like that. Sometimes at the Maggie Holmes cut apart, you have a little square here, and you have a big square here, and you have to cattywampus everything. I like this, because what I'm going to do is simply take that cut apart, and I'm going to cut it in half. And so that's going to be 6 inches. That's all I did, one cut in the middle. And then I trimmed it down to 11.5. And so one's going to go on the left and one's going to go on the right. Isn't that a fun, different way to use cut apart? So basically, that's a subtitle. That's a title, subtitle, journaling, affirmation. That's a little bit of everything right there in those cut aparts simply by cutting them in half. And I did give them a little bit of a haircut so I could see a little bit of this black perimeter. Oh, stinking gnat. Oh, I'm never going to get rid of them. And so then what I did was I took another piece of paper from that paper pad. It was the B-side to this. It's like a marble. And I cut these down to 6 by 10. And what I'm simply going to do with these is I'm going to give me a mat, but not a complete mat. This is only a partial mat. Okay? So I'm going to do that there on the left. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the right. And again, this is just, I can overlap it a little bit. Just a partial mat. And so then I had this rose paper that I liked, but because I have so much color already just with these cut aparts, and again, this is a quick double page, is that I took, these are 1 inches, and then what I did is I cut them down to 9, and I'm going to simply layer them over there on the left and one over here on the right. Again, that was just a 1-inch piece of paper. I ran through that same punch I've been playing with, and I just made them 9 inches. I didn't want them the whole length. Something different, something fun. Now this is great as a double page, and I will tell you what this is great for. This is great for review pages or leftovers, and especially if you had black and white photos, because this is kind of a color scheme. It's a heavy color scheme. So if you had a lot of black and white photos or any type of portrait photos in black and white, this would be perfect for. This rose quartz definitely follows in the line that this is a specific color scheme, and if you don't like that, I wouldn't suggest buying a whole paper pad, because it is just definitely this pink and this black and this gray and a little bit of a wood tone, but it's very heavy color scheme. And so with the leftovers or the month in review, this would be good because you have so much saying going on. It would fit a lot of things. Say like if you have a child or your mom or your grandmother and you have a lot of leftovers, let all of these just work for you as embellishments, quotes, and then you fill all this space up with leftovers. Again, if you wanted to convert them to black and white, that would probably be a really nice standout piece. And then again, the beauty of this is that you could do this use this as a double or use this as a single. Say if you wanted to do this twice for 2 different people, right there's one, and right there's the other one. Yes, you don't have to do it as a double page. For me, I don't know if I'm going to do this as a double page. I always have selfies of my little one, and I'll convert to black and white, and maybe I have a really nice one, and I would just use one, and then let these quotes do the work for me. That's a fun page when you want to showcase a beautiful photo. So that is that. So that is all I have for this video number 2 in this paper pad party, playing with all those paper pads and then doing base pages for double page layouts. I hope I gave you some different ideas how to look at your paper pads differently, how to use them differently, and most importantly, just pull them out and start playing with them. There's no wrong way to do any of this. And then also to hit that show more button below, you'll see the measurements and the information per layout listed. And then also in a few days or a week or so, if you head over to Deborah's Facebook group, I will have a PDF written up that will have all of these 14 layouts with the information if you want something handy. And then what I will do is I will send the pictures of all these individual layouts that you see at the end of the video. I will send those over to Deborah's Facebook group too, because those ladies are just awesome that way. Yes, they will be loaded up. And so just ask Karen or Deborah where that will be, and they'll probably put it under maybe paper pad party or base page layouts, something like that. So just look into that. And then if you have any questions, just list it below, because Deborah looks in basically on every video. So thank you, Deborah, for what you're doing over there at your Facebook group. You're doing something amazing. I just love you. You're just adorable. Okay, so that is going to wrap up this holiday weekend. I hope you had fun with this. I know it was fun for me to just pull out these paper pads and play. That's all the paper pad party is, just playing. And then to know that I have 28 pages. 28 pages at my disposal that I can put in my base page album. That never gets old. No. So that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS, because you simply never know what we're going to do. Bye.